Hi, everyone. Maggie O here with Homeschool with Maggie O, and we are continuing our science curriculum review series. Today, we're looking at Abeka Science. Abeka is probably a familiar name to many homeschool families. It's a very established Christian curriculum, and its approach is considerably more traditional and structured than some of the science programs we've looked at in this series. So, today I want to show you how the science progresses through the grades, what the materials actually look like, the difference between teaching it yourself and using Abeka's video instruction, and of course, we'll finish with my curriculum fit lens. So, let's take a look. Let me share my screen. One thing that's important to understand about Abeka is that this is a complete curriculum company. Science is just one component of a larger K through 12 curriculum. And families have quite a bit of flexibility in how they use it. You can purchase the books and teach science yourself. You can purchase the kits with the student and parent materials already put together. Or you can use Abeka Academy video instruction and have an Abeka teacher deliver those lessons for you. So when someone says we use Abeka, they're actually their actual homeschool day may look very different depending upon which of these options that they decide to do and to choose. So let's look here. Let's talk about the levels and placement. Abeka organizes its science primarily by grade level. So, right here, you can select your child's grade from K4 all the way through 12th grade and see what's taught at that level. I do not see a separate science placement test where your child takes a test and Abeka tells you which science course to use. I haven't found that on here. Instead, I would use this grade level progression along with Abeka scope and sequence. The scope and sequence lets you see exactly which science concepts and skills are taught at each grade. So if you're unsure whether your child belongs in a particular level, don't rely only on their age. Look at what they've already studied and compare that with what's actually covered in the course. So let's use this fourth grade as an elementary example. We have the grade four science and health materials, and you can immediately see that this is a fairly traditional curriculum structure. There are textbooks, there's activity materials, quizzes, and tests. And if you're parent teaching, there are detailed lesson plans and answer keys available as well. The science itself includes areas like plants, weather, ecology, and geology, along with hands on observation and activities. So, although I would call Abeka textbook based, that does not mean students simply sit and read a textbook every day. And here you can see the kit. It'll show you what the kit comes with. Um, let's actually click up in here if we can. Well, that's not helping us, is it? Mm. Let's see here. Let's go to here. So this is grade four science health parent kit, and it gives you the overview. And the benefits are here spelled out for you. And then these things that scroll are other items that people have also purchased. And you can see the reviews, you can see questions. Um, and then here they talk about, the flexibility and the testing and the curriculum and the pro teach and the academy. I still want to go inside the actual workbook is what I'm trying to get for you. So give me just 1 minute. Um, I'm going to do this right here. We did grade four. That's the full year. We don't want the full year. We want the science. Here we go. Textbooks. There we go. And I still want to look inside. If we find the samples, we want to go in and look to see if they do offer samples. And I'm not seeing like actual samples. Here's how to customize the video lesson. So let's try to go in here and see if we can see inside something. That's where we were. It's not letting us look inside it. So that's unfortunate. Usually Abeka is very colorful. They have very active pages, and it's engaging. And some children thrive with that, while others need something that's much looser. And that's exactly why we like to look at samples. So let's see if we can. The resource section, sample video lessons. If you're wanting to do the video lessons, here's video lessons, but I want to actually look for samples inside the workbooks. Here we go. See samples. Sometimes we just have to look a little bit, and that's okay. So we're going to try to go to not 4-year-olds, we want fourth grade, and I want Science 4. Here we go. And let's see if it's going to give us something. This is more the video.
You can tell somebody by the way they look. For example, if I was describing myself to you, I would say I have brown hair. I'm 5'7". I have brown eyes. That's describing how I look. We recognize birds the same way we recognize people. They have certain characteristics about them. The first thing we look at is their size. If you've ever seen a pelican before, you know that is a big bird and it has that big beak. And then you think of a little sparrow. It's a very small bird. So we notice the size. We notice the color. A cardinal is red. If you see a bright red bird, you automatically think, oh, that must be a cardinal. If you see a blue bird, a lot of times you think, oh, that's a blue jay. If it's brown, it might be a...
So that's how the lesson sounds. That's the video lesson that supports the parents when you're in this program. But before you look at the price and think, that's my science cost, make sure that you understand which pieces are actually included and which pieces that you need to support you and what would be best served for your homeschool family. You don't necessarily need every product that you see on the page. So let's look at, we're going to jump ahead here to biology. And this is their high school. This is for grade 10. And this, now we're clearly looking at a more substantial high school science course. Students study areas including botany, zoology, anatomy, and physiology, genetics, ecology, cells, and microbiology. And you'll also see section reviews, chapter reviews, vocabulary, photographs, and full color diagrams. And again, notice, let's look inside if we can. This is the teacher edition. Look inside. And so then you can click through this. There's a section for table of contents, content, and then we're going to go into the let's see here. I want to go to the actual, here's a lab manual. We can look inside the lab manual. And we're going to go to content, dissecting a flower. And remember, as always, because we're talking science, you want to make sure that you have your equipment, your supplies. And here's what a report sheet would look like inside of Abeka biology. This is high school biology. Table of contents. These are the exercises and additional exercises and field study projects, which is kind of a neat addition there too. If you're buying high school science, I absolutely want your teenager looking at these samples with you. Have them look at the reading and the page layout and look at those questions. And they're the person who's going to be using it. So it's important to get their feedback on it. I want to go back into here and see. Those were I wanted to find this particular one that I wanted. It doesn't have a look inside above it. I was hoping it did because that's what I was looking for a minute ago. But it doesn't. But we do have it for the biology. This page also makes Abeka's worldview very clear. Abeka describes this biology text as non-evolutionary. Throughout its science curriculum, Abeka teaches from an explicitly Christian, creation-based worldview. So, just as we've discussed with our other science curricula, worldview is an important part of curriculum fit. If you're specifically looking for Christian science taught from a creationist perspective, that may be a major reason you're considering Abeka. If you're looking for secular science or mainstream evolutionary biology, this is not going to be a good fit. And here in this chart, how does Abeka compare to other homeschool options? And you can go through this as well. This is kind of cool because it shows you like the length of time, if they're accredited, the delivery method, the subjects, the transcripts, support, costs, shows you different cost analysis, application fees, administration fee. And so this is very helpful information for you to have. But you'll just go through here like we've done. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of being clunky. I'm getting caught off in my rabbit hole again and going through it myself. So just take your time and go through it and see what you find. These tabs up at the top help drop down good information that you would need. And you can go either by obviously homeschool, parent led, the academy. This is specific to the academy and the resources that are available to you. And here's another important part about Abeka. You do not necessarily have to personally teach all of this. And that's what their academy does for you. So if you're looking at high school biology and thinking, Maggie, there is no way I want to teach this myself, don't automatically eliminate Abeka. Look at that video option and see if that's a good fit for you or a better fit. And before you pay for video instruction, take advantage of the samples, just like I was showing you a minute ago. Abeka currently lets families try video lessons for free and provides video lesson samples. So that would definitely be something worth looking into. You want to use those and let your child watch the teacher. That's the person who needs to connect with the teaching style. Ask, could you listen to this teacher every day? Does this keep your attention? Do you understand the explanation? That's much more useful than choosing an online curriculum because somebody else said their child loved it. So let's put Abeka Science through my curriculum fit lens. The teaching approach, I would describe Abeka Science as traditional, structured, textbook based, and academically thorough with hands-on activities incorporated into the program. There's a clear sequence, there's lessons and there's review. And as students get older, there are quizzes and tests. If you like knowing exactly what to teach and when to teach it, that structure may feel very reassuring to you. For the learning style fit, I think this can work particularly well for visual learners because Abeka always has really colorful pages, materials, photographs, illustrations, charts, and diagrams. Students who like structure and clear expectations may also do very well. There are hands-on components, but I would not put Abeka in the same category as something like Real Science Odyssey, where experimentation drives much of the learning. As far as your parent involvement role, this depends heavily on which version you choose. If you're using the parent-led curriculum, you're the teacher. Abeka gives you detailed lesson plans and support, but you're still delivering and managing the course. And if you're using Abeka Academy, the video instruction, much more of the teaching responsibility moves to the video teacher. And that can make a huge difference for a parent teaching multiple children. I didn't see a separate placement section for science. Science is primarily organized, as you saw, by grade. So use the curriculum overview by grade, the scope and sequence, and the look inside samples when they provide them to decide whether the level is appropriate for your child. Especially if your student is coming into Abeka from another curriculum, don't assume that the grade number tells you everything. Samples. Yes, we want samples. Look for the look inside. And we noticed on the fourth grade, it wasn't letting us do that, but it did on the high school biology. And just go through and see, which ones offer that. Because those are really helpful. And if you're considering Abeka Academy, use the free video trial like we were just looking at, and I let you listen to just a little bit of it before you purchase. Those two things can tell you a lot about whether this curriculum fits your student. As far as the worldview, Abeka is, like I said earlier, explicitly Christian and creation based. The biblical worldview is integrated throughout the science curriculum, and its biology course is explicitly non evolutionary. And that's an important fit distinction. Independence, parent led Abeka is going to require more involvement, especially in elementary school. Abeka Academy can make the curriculum considerably more independent because the video teacher handles the actual instruction. Other students can also take increasing responsibility for reading, assignments, quizzes, and tests. So, who I think Abeka would maybe be a good fit for, you would want somebody that if you're wanting a traditional structured Christian science curriculum, your child likes colorful textbooks and clear expectations. You appreciate having lesson plans already laid out for you. You want regular review and assessment. You want a curriculum that continues through high school, or you want the option of handing some of the teaching responsibility to an experienced video teacher. You may want to keep looking. I would if you want, for one, want a secular science. This is not it. You want a very relaxed or child-led approach. Your child strongly resists textbook style learning. You want science to revolve primarily around experiments and discovery, or you prefer very little testing and formal assessment. Abeka is probably one of the more traditional science programs we've looked at. And for the right child, that's not negative. Some children genuinely thrive when they know here's today's lesson, here's what I'm supposed to learn, here's what I need to complete, and here's what's coming next. Other children need much more freedom and exploration. So that's why we're not asking, is Abeka Science good? We're asking, does the way Abeka teach science fit my child? Use the scope and sequence. Look inside the books when you can, and even look at other books, even if you don't think it's your grade level. And if they're allowing it in other grade levels, go ahead and look inside. Try the video samples if you're considering the academy, and then make your decision based on the child sitting right in front of you. I'm Homeschool with Maggie O, your homeschool mentor, and I'll see you inside our next science curriculum review. Until next time, happy homeschooling.